The city skyline glittered outside the panoramic window of the penthouse office, a sea of a million tiny lights that usually brought a sense of power to CEO Julian Vance. But tonight, they only seemed to mock him. The office, his kingdom, was steeped in a heavy, oppressive silence. He sat behind his massive mahogany desk, the polished surface reflecting his tired, drawn face. The air was thick with the scent of expensive leather and something else: regret. Julian was a man forged in the crucible of high-stakes business. He was demanding, exacting, and had an almost allergic reaction to incompetence. His days were a whirlwind of back-to-back meetings, billion-dollar deals, and relentless pressure. He expected nothing less than perfection from himself and everyone around him. His personal assistant, Sarah, had been the one person who could keep up with his frantic pace, a calm and efficient force in the storm of his professional life. For 3 years, she had been his right hand, anticipating his needs, managing his chaotic schedule, and absorbing his frequent bursts of frustration with unwavering professionalism. She was, in a word, perfect. Until today. The day had started like any other pressure cooker Monday. Julian had a crucial overseas acquisition call scheduled for 3 p.m., one he'd been preparing for all quarter. The final presentation deck, the one Sarah was responsible for compiling, was nowhere to be found in his inbox. 1 p.m. He called her. The line rang and rang, then went to voicemail. Annoyance pricked at him. He left a clipped message. "Sarah, where's the deck? Call me." An hour passed. Still no email, no call back. He called again. And again. Each unanswered ring tightened the knot of frustration in his gut. It was unlike her. She was always reachable, always on top of things. By 2:30 p.m., with the international partners already sending preparatory emails, Julian's annoyance had boiled over into pure, unadulterated fury. How could she be so irresponsible? On a day like this? He felt a vain throb in his temple. He pictured her out to a long lunch, laughing with friends, completely oblivious to the firestorm she was creating back at the office. The thought was infuriating. He slammed his fist on the desk, the sharp sound echoing in the quiet office. He grabbed his phone, his thumb jabbing at the screen with brutal force. He called her one last time. When the familiar, cheerful greeting of her voicemail kicked in, he didn't wait. He spoke, his voice low and cold, dripping with venom. "Sarah, don't bother coming back. Ever. Your things will be couriered to you. You're fired." He ended the call, the finality of his words hanging in the air. He felt a grim satisfaction. Incompetence had to have consequences. He managed to salvage the meeting, pulling old data and improvising his way through the presentation. He closed the deal, of course. He always did. But the victory felt hollow. As evening fell, the adrenaline of the day faded, leaving behind a strange emptiness. The usual buzz of a successful deal was absent. The silence in his office, usually a welcome reprieve, felt accusatory. He sat there, staring at the cityscape, the glass reflecting a man he barely recognized, harsh, lonely, and tired. He picked up his phone, intending to check the final market reports, but his thumb hovered over his voicemail icon. A red notification dot glowed there. A new message. He rarely checked his own voicemail. That was Sarah's job. Or, it used to be. A flicker of morbid curiosity made him press play. He saw the timestamp, 2:58 p.m., just 2 minutes before his own hateful message had been sent. Then, her voice filled the silence. But it wasn't the calm, composed voice he was used to. It was strained, breathless, and punctuated by the distant, rhythmic beeping of a heart monitor. "Mr. Vance." "Julian." "I'm so sorry," she began, her voice cracking. "I tried to call. The reception here is terrible. I'm at the hospital. My dad, he had a heart attack this morning. It's not looking good." There was a pause, and he could hear her take a shaky breath. "I'm so sorry about the presentation. I know how important it is. I have my laptop. I'm trying to finish it now, in the waiting room. The Wi-Fi keeps cutting out, but I'll get it to you, I promise. I'll send it the second it's done. I am so sorry to let you down." The message ended. The phone slipped from Julian's hand, clattering onto the desk. The sound was deafening in the profound silence. He stared at the dark screen, her words echoing in his mind. The beeping of the heart monitor, the desperation in her voice, her apology for letting him down while her own world was falling apart. He saw it all with sickening clarity. Sarah, huddled in a sterile hospital waiting room, her face pale with worry, frantically trying to work on his presentation while her father was fighting for his life. The image he had constructed of her enjoying a leisurely lunch shattered into a million pieces. In its place was a portrait of loyalty and dedication so profound it made his chest ache. He had been her boss, the man she devoted her professional life to, and in her moment of crisis, his only response had been rage and punishment. He hadn't given her the benefit of the doubt, not for a second. He had assumed the worst, and in his arrogance, he had unleashed his fury on a person who least deserved it. He thought of his own voicemail, the cold, cruel words he had spat at her. He imagined her listening to it, perhaps just moments after leaving her own desperate message. The thought was a physical blow. He felt the air leave his lungs. The weight of his action crashed down on him with the force of a tidal wave. He wasn't a king in a castle. He was just a lonely man in a dark room, a man who had broken something that could never be truly fixed. He stood up and walked to the vast window. The city lights blurred through the tears welling in his eyes. He had won the deal, but what had he lost? He had severed a connection with one of the few genuinely good people in his life. He had revealed a part of himself that was ugly and cruel. In his relentless pursuit of success, he had forgotten how to be human. The regret was a cold, heavy stone in his gut. He knew he could call her. He could apologize, beg her to come back, triple her salary. But he also knew that some things, once said, could never be unsaid. Some actions leave scars that no amount of money or apologies can heal. The trust was broken. The respect she must have had for him was surely gone, replaced by hurt and disillusionment. Tonight, in the silence of his empire, Julian Vance was utterly and completely bankrupt. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content that makes you think. We all have moments we regret, but it's what we learn from them that defines us. Stay kind, and we'll see you in the next one.